and those who call the adhan, and a variety of other righteous deeds. They will find with them on that day a special status where Allah will alleviate from them some of the trials of that time. Furthermore, following this state, people will be gathered. They will be gathered together and driven on towards the judgment. Intercession will take place prior to the actual moving from that initial state. People will run to the various prophets, and Prophet Muhammad, may God's peace and blessing be upon him, will be the one to intercede on their behalf to start the process of moving forward for the judgment. And on that day there will be a variety of types of intercession. But of course, no intercession will take place except that which Allah has permitted to take place. The people will be moved forth for the judgment, and the judgment of their deeds will take place according to 5 basic principles. 1, absolute justice, that no one will be oppressed in any way. 2, no one will be held accountable for the sins of others. However, some will carry the sins of them, their own sins, along with the sins of others. Not that they are accountable for the sins of others, but that they pointed others on an evil way. As the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had said, whoever starts an evil way, a sunnah sayyi'ah, that individual will receive the sin of having started that way, as well as the sin of everyone who goes down that path until the last day. But it will not reduce the sin of those who have taken that path. It will be additional sin on themselves. But of course, Allah is most merciful and He's just, so that those who start a good way, likewise they will get the reward of everyone who goes down that path, without decreasing their reward in the least. It will be added to them. And God's grace will be manifest in the 4th way, or in the 3rd way, that the good deeds will be multiplied. All good deeds done will be multiplied 10 times to hundreds of times, whereas evil deeds will only be held as 1. This is the grace of God among His creatures. And people will see all of their deeds. This is among the principles. No one will be tried, will be judged, without having seen the deeds that they have done. So no one will have an argument against God. I didn't do this. I didn't know. Somebody told me to do it and I really didn't know better. All of the type of arguments that we make up for committing sins, committing evil. When we see our deeds before us, we will not be able to raise any such arguments, because the reality will be very clear. These are choices that we have made, and we now will be responsible for them. 5thly, witnesses will be brought against the disbelievers and the hypocrites. When the judgment takes place, those who have done good deeds, but for the wrong intentions, these will be exposed on that day. The Prophet, may God's peace and blessing be upon him, had said that among the first 3 people who would be thrown into hell would be a scholar, a martyr, and a philanthropist. Each was given something by Allah, whether it was knowledge, or it was courage, physical strength, prowess, and wealth. Allah will ask them, what did you do with these which I gave you? And each will say, I used it for your pleasure. I spread the knowledge that you gave me for your pleasure. I fought. I gave up my life for your sake. I gave of my wealth as you instructed, seeking only your pleasure. However, God will say to them, no, that is not the case. You taught knowledge so that people would say, what a great scholar you are. How intelligent, how smart, how wise. And people said it. You fought because you wanted people to praise, to clap for you. What a courageous warrior. How brave. And you gave wealth, not for my sake, but so people would say, what a generous person. How kind he is. And all of these things have been said in that world. There's nothing for you in this life. They will be dragged off on their faces and thrown into the hellfire. Also at this time, people's sins will be exposed, other sins exposed. Those who did certain righteous deeds, God may veil some of their sins from the people. As the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ had said, whoever guards the honor of a believer, protects his or her honor, defends them, in justice of course, on the day of judgment Allah will protect their honor. He will shield their sins from being exposed. And books, the books will be given. The books which contain the record of our deeds, written by the angels that are with every human being, recording their deeds. Those who are righteous will receive their book of deeds in their right hands. Those unrighteous will not want to receive their book of deeds. They will put their hands behind their backs to avoid receiving it, but it will still go into their hands anyway, into their left hands. We strive, we want to be, or should want to be, among those who receive our book of deeds in our right hands.